Right. So, Katie Hopkins. Posh English idiot who's famous for absolutely no fucking reason. Speaking of that last part real quick, what's with all these people being famous for no rhyme or reason? Why the hell is Alicia Dixon famous? What? Why is Amanda Horton famous? What, do you get famous from doing adverts or something? I mean, like, apparently she does infomercials or some shit. I don't care. Simon Cowell, he's a producer, but no one really cares about producers, especially if they're producers of record labels that owned a band as shitty as One Direction. They're disbanded, but I'm still allowed to shit on them. And the only time we really care about the record label is when it's Sony, so we can shit on them for doing shit stuff to the musicians who are part of that label. Let me make a damn good cup of tea. So, anyways, Katie Hopkins, I don't know why she's famous. All I do know is she's a fucking idiot. Let's just get on with this. And hopefully my suffering will eventually end.
So, what is it that you can tell from a name, Katie?
Right, so because I have this thing called common sense, which a lot of people seem to be lacking nowadays, I'm going to give the blatantly obvious answer. Absolutely nothing! The only time you can tell something from someone by their name, it's not even finding out something about that person themselves, it's about their parents. For instance, if their name is Northwest, you learn that their parents are fucking retarded.
I think you can tell a great deal from a name.
So I'm gonna just be blunt and say, you think wrong!
You know, for me, there's certain names that I hear them and I think, ooh, and
Oh, that's like me when I hear the name Katie Hopkins.
it's associated, ultimately it comes down to the mum or the dad, because they're the ones that gave them the child the name. But when I hear screeched across the playground, you know, Tyler!
Wait. What are you doing on a playground? Do you work with the Catholic Church?
Come back here! You know, that's the Tylers, the Charmaines, the Chantels, the Chardonnays.
And there's no one shouting.
What the hell kind of name is Charmaine? Who names their child Charmaine? It just sounds kind of like chicken Charmaine. What? You take this fucking guy who just fucking likes his takeaway, he has a kid, and it's like, I'ma call you Charmaine! But he says it's Charmaine because he has a speech impediment. Like, what kind of name even is that? I mean, like, I don't know, maybe it's some weird name, I don't care. If that happens to be your name and you're watching this, I'm gonna just tell you now, your parents hate you.
Out, Esme, come back here.
I don't hear that so much, nor do I hear, Ileana, trot back here. You
Of course you don't hear that, because no one's child is named Eliana, and nobody says trot back here, unless they're talking to a fucking horse.
No, you don't hear that, do you? But you hear Tyler, come here. You know that. And for me, that summarises everything. A name for me is a shortcut. It's a really efficient way of working out what class that child comes from. Do I want my children to play with them?
Okay, so here we have a classic case of a rich person being an asshole. But here's the thing, her logic is less sound than some of the logic Hitler used when he wanted to invade Russia. That being not packing winter coats. It's weird because Napoleon seemed to make the same mistake. You think they'd learn by then that Russia is cold, but apparently not. So, the name is a shortcut to distinguishing what class someone is from. Take the name James. It's my name. It's a decent name. I don't like it, but I live with it. I don't give a damn. Sometimes I go by Jim or Jimmy or somehow Jim Bob, although I don't really like those either. Jim Bob is definitely the worst. Where the fuck did the Bob come from? Speaking of which, where did the I and where did the Y come from? We don't know. And it's Jim. I said, oh, that's kind of short, but that's actually short for Jimmy. Jimmy is not really short for James, it's the same amount of letters. But take the name James. I'm just lower middle class dude, right? But a few centuries ago, the King of England had the same name. And that's obviously a very different class. Or take the name Elizabeth, the current reigning queen. There are probably homeless people named Elizabeth, so it doesn't really work there, does it? I mean, like the name Tyler, the name you apparently fucking hate. There's probably some rich Tyler in, like, somewhere. I don't know. Maybe some rich American dude named Tyler. And there's also a poor dude named Tyler. Your name, Katie. I know, actually, no, I don't know a Katie. But there probably is, actually, do I? Actually, yes, I did used to know a Katie. But guess what? She wasn't rich like you, and she wasn't as posh and stuck up. At least not what I remember. What I remember, considering she went to the same school I did. Yeah, you're really unlikely. Actually, I'm not going to say unlikely. It's completely fucking impossible you're rich posh yet, because you're obviously not. If you went to a place like that, but we're not going to delve into that. Either way, that argument is just completely flawed for that very reason, because there are many examples of where names don't have associative classes. So, what does this lead me to believe? Well, we'll move on to that later.
And why would you say, so if you then, from that, you go, okay, well, they're in a lower class than I am, why do you then not want your child
because
to be...
associated with that isn't just about class, Holt, it's about the fact that they probably haven't done their homework. When
According to this dumb fuck, someone's name is indicative of whether or not they did their homework. This is a similar argument with the case thing. I know people with the same names. Take the random name Rebecca. I know two Rebeccas. One of them has probably never even heard of homework. The other definitely does it. Oh, the name Dylan. I know too many fucking Dylans, and they're all ginger. It's fucking weird. Do people see a ginger kid and like be like, Dylan? How does that work? I don't fucking know. Quite frankly, I don't care. But again, same case scenario. Some of them do homework. Some of them don't. James, I know another James. He definitely does not do it. I do mine because I have a sad life and I have nothing better to do most of the time. And when I'm not doing that, I'm practicing. And when I'm not doing that, I'm reading. And when I'm not doing that, I'm doing whatever the fuck this is.
my daughter comes home from school, she'll say, Tyler was a real pain today, let's say.
Hey, come on, that's not even a fucking believable anecdote. No one, like, this scenario never happened. Hey, I'm home. That other kid was a real pain today, so my day at school was shit. No one has ever come home from school and gone to the parent after, how was your day? Well, this one kid was really a pain. No, that just doesn't happen.
Because he threw his books across the class and the...
What kind of mentally deficient person will just casually in the middle of class take their book and eat it across the room? That doesn't happen either unless you're in like some like special needs class or a fucking class where they keep all the fucking kids who don't fucking know how to control themselves. But it just doesn't happen. And if it does happen, it's because your kid is also in that class. So therefore your kid is also, in short, a retard.
Teacher had to lose her patience. There's a whole set of things that go with children like that.
And so that face is an accurate reaction of every person on earth who has common sense.
That are quite a disruptive influence in school, and that's why I don't like those kind of children.
But Monty and Ileana can still be nasty, self-centered airheads. Come on.
You see, this guy, he knows what's up. He knows. This fucking Katie Hopkins, she doesn't, but this guy gets it.
Don't they?
I tend to think children that have intelligent names tend to have fairly intelligent parents, and they...
What the fuck do you mean by intelligent name? That's not a thing that exists. A name can't be described as intelligent. Take one of the smartest people to ever live. Actually, the smartest person to ever live. William James Sidis. His name is William. Does William sound like a smart name? I don't think it does. Do you know why I don't think that? Because no name sounds like a smart name, or intelligent name, because names can't be intelligent. They are fucking names.
They make much better play dates, therefore, for my children.
Hey, but who the hell actually says play date anymore? Like, come on. Who says that?
Or, sorry, pardon.
I say, we wouldn't
they?
say that word.
Wouldn't
No,
you
not
say
at
that?
all. I think, you know, if you look across...
Nasty, if you've got the class system at school.
I think if mothers were honest with themselves when they vote on that worm of yours, and they say, oh, their child comes out and says, oh, let's say a name, I don't know, Simon has asked me to come and play on a play date. And
Oh! That one is close to home. My name's not Simon, obviously. My name is fucking Jones, but my second name is almost Simon. It's Simons. Simon with an S. So I almost have two first names, but I'm saved by the S. By the way, how does that happen? Why do people have two first names? Why first names and last names? I don't know. Either way, that one hits kind of close to home. And I don't like where this is going. But I don't care, let's fucking continue. I'm not a sensitive fuck to get offended by the word bitch.
the mother will say, well, where does Simon live? What that mother is not, she's not asking about geographical location.
But that she literally is, and also geographical location. There's no other fucking kind.
She's sussing out, do we want to be playing with Simon or not?
Anime,
Hello.
go for it.
This is snort-worthy, Katie. I mean,
Okay, although I've never in my entire life ever heard the term snort-worthy, laughable is one, child's play is one, fucking retarded is one. Never heard ever someone call something snort-worthy. But either way, I seem to be agreeing with this person. This person seems to have more brain cells than Katie. So that's not an achievement. I mean, Jaden Smith has more brain cells than Katie. Actually, you know what? Kanye West has more brain cells than this posh idiot. And he's Kanye fucking West.
can't believe that you're such an insufferable snob.
Honestly, I probably would have said insufferable snobby retard. But I could not have put it better myself.
And I can tell you that if you do let one of your little darlings go and play with a working class child, they almost certainly won't come home singing My Old Man's a Dustman. It's safe, really, nothing's going to happen to them. Working class children are doing incredibly well, and for you to categorise at state schools, and for you to categorise them because of their names, which they didn't even choose themselves, is cruel and unkind and so snooty. It's just so old-fashioned. And yeah, I don't know who your children are mixing with, but it's not the children's friends who will make them do well in the end. And I can also tell you that on Friday I was at my daughter's graduation. She qualified as a doctor. I've got 2 doctors in the family, went to state schools. I'm the daughter of an Irish immigrant. And there were Dr. Kylie's graduating, Dr. Charmaine's. So tell me, if you were sick or one of your children was sick, would you let a Dr. Kylie treat your children? Or would it be too appalling because they're working class?
Well, the lawyers
Get this woman a fucking medal.
I work with, I can't think of a single Charmaine nor a Kylie.
Okay,
I don't meet many myself. I meet a lot of Horatios.
Charmaine Cree, the Australian Paralympian gold, silver and bronze medalist. Tyler Cowen, New York Times journalist and professor of economics.
Oh look, I said a rich Tyler earlier, but I was right, an American successful Tyler.
Brandon Flowers, musician, lead singer of the Killers.
You say that to me, and I hear those names. I mean, I think it's probably what we all associate with children we know that have those names. I hear that last name, and I think, hasn't done the homework, will always rock up late, has the mother signing in. Reason for being late, running late.
I think anyone in the history of the entire school system has ever used the excuse for running late being running late. Because that's dumb. And considering you thought of that, that actually makes me think that you've done that. Because no one would ever write that. Except maybe you. Because you seem like a complete fucking idiot. And you seem like the exact type of person who would actually write that.
opinion's not really restricting your children.
They are, but you know what?
But
Hoz?
then
we
why
haven't
would
got a
you
lot
do
of time.
that? But
We
you
haven't got a
agree
lot
with
of
that.
time.
Why would you do that?
We are really time short in this world, and we need shortcuts to make
That's
decisions.
why you shouldn't be
It's
sneering
very
at people,
effective.
Katie. It's about
very
sneering.
quick. It's about making fast choices for your children that you think are for the best.
Right, so she's obviously one of those people that should definitely never be a parent. Because yes, parents just don't do what they think is best for their child. But if they refuse to believe otherwise, like she clearly does, and make stupid decisions like, this person has this name, be gone! It's terrible parenting, I'll be honest. It's even... I mean, I've known bad parents in my fucking lifetime, but this is something else. Like, this is... like... So we all know about fucking entitled mothers. This is the fucking pinnacle of that. Except it's not because of her children, and that's not what she cares about most. It seems to be rather her own interests, because she doesn't want her children associating with certain people, not because or that she cares for them, but because she cares for her own name. Like probably in her small circle of friends, made up of like 2 people who attend the fucking Bible study, they probably have certain opinions, and if her kids were to have friends called fucking Tyler, she probably fears they'd look at her in a different way. That's what I get. That's the sort of impression I get from this, and it's just terrible parenting. No, I mean, like, every child deserves a parent, but not every parent deserves a child.
My
They get
friends,
to do their own thing.
my friends at primary school were from all sorts, and they're the people who've seen me through my life, through illness, through bereavement, through having my own children. And now I don't even think about where they came from, what their names are. They're just my dear, dear friends. And you're really robbing your children of the chance to be decent human
this is
beings.
all
It's about
very noble.
kindness.
This is
It's
all-
not noble.
It is
I'm
all very
I'm a
noble. It's
pushy
all
mum.
very
I'm a self-professed.
It's very real.
I'm a
very real.
self-professed
I don't
pushy
believe-
mother,
I don't
and I'm a
believe
working
that.
class
Do you know
girl.
what?
I don't buy
You must
that.
have missed
The
out on
mums
so
that come
much
up
in your
to me,
life if
I
you
haven't
don't
missed
see
out on
that
a
as
great
being
deal.
All together, ladies, you're all talking
Sorry,
together.
I can't help but get involved.
When parents come up to me, they'll say, I read your article or whatever about, what children are called and the fact you wouldn't let your children play with them. And they'll say, I wouldn't say it, but that's what I do.
Well, snobs attract snobs, what can we say?
Loads of women are doing the
My
same
name
thing.
is Anna May, and I was not allowed to play with certain children when I was at school because their families knew I was an Irish immigrant. And yeah, I have to say that me and my children have gone on to do a whole lot better than some of their children. Now, that's not bragging, that's just the fact. So they should have really betted on me because I probably would have helped their children do well.
All right, Katie, so that's...
Exactly. Like, everyone, we all remember Martin Luther King Jr., even though he stole his name from a guy who was kind of anti-Semitic, and it was actually his dad who changed his name, although, I mean, that Martin Luther, the one with the 95 thesis, he did some good things, he did more good things than he did bad things. The good kind of outweigh the bad. But although he inspired 2 people, one of them being someone who was once named Michael Luther Sr., the other being Adolf Hitler, but that's not really relevant right now. But yes, the point this woman's making here, I'm not sure of her name, is exactly right, because back to Martin Luther King Jr., he once said, I do not want not to be judged by the colour of the skin, but by the content of character. I do not want my children to be judged by the colour of the skin, but by the content of their character. Now, of course, yes, that goes both ways, but it doesn't just apply to skin colour. It would apply to someone's background, someone's name. You're not judging someone based off where they came from. You're not judging someone based on the colour of the skin. You're not judging them based off their name. You're judging them off who they are. And that is how it should be. Because if so take you meet around your child, you're Katie in this situation, and your child has a friend named Tyler, and you disapprove of that just because Tyler, and he actually happens to be from a lower class background and his parents are shit, but he himself is the opposite of his parent. He does his homework, he studies, he gets top grades, and he's a good person overall. And maybe in the future he could be beneficiary in life, not as a new type of life person, but he's just a good guy to have around, and by isolating them, you're just robbing your child of that potential opportunity to just have a good friend. It's not even being overprotective, it's just being retarded. It's being stupid, it's being a shitty parent. That's all that is. That's pretty much the exact same point I just made. Also, also, going back to these others, I want to go even further with that. Not only is it bad for your child, it's bad for the other one as well. The same sort of things happen, and you're just robbing them of that. How do you think that kid's gonna feel? He's not allowed to have a friend just because of his name. That's fucking stupid. I mean, like, it's gonna fucking mess with him. He's a kid. It's just fucked up.
What's your view on Christian names? So what happens about surnames then? Do you judge someone on their surname?
That's sinister.
Surnames, no. I mean, I don't really get involved in surnames. I don't really know many of the surnames of the children of the friends of my children, so I wouldn't judge them on their surnames. It's
because
just
you're on very dangerous territory. You start to judge someone on their surname.
Well, as I said, I don't judge people on their surnames, but certainly I do make a very quick decision based on their first names. And there's a whole...
Is just as bad, or if not worse, because now you're just judging it on even less.
Whole bunch of first names that I don't like. I don't like footballers' names. I don't like names after seasons of the year. I don't like geographical location names, celebrity names, things like Apple, things like, you know, Tilly Fizz or Jolly Apple, whatever they've decided to call their crazy.
Poppy.
My child's called Poppy.
Yes,
it's a
well,
flower.
it's a flower.
A geographical, seasonal.
No.
They're not like Latin.
Poppy's quite
You should
jolly.
call it to the Latin name for Poppy. That would have been really posh.
Interestingly, though, other people have criticised me for calling her Poppy because they say Poppy's a naughty name. So
you
parents do
what
criticise
about
each
geographic
other.
stuff?
Geographic. Oh, so Brooklyn or London.
Your
or...
child's called India.
Okay, so a revelation has emerged. Not only is this woman a fucking idiot, she's also a hypocrite.
Yes, but you know, that's because it's not related to a location.
The child named India is not named after a geographical location. The child called India is not based on a geographical location. That's like... How can you be so fucked in the head as to argue that your child named India is not named after the country India? Which, by the way, is a location. It's like if I had a kid and called him James and said, no, he's not named after me. Obviously he would be. And obviously India is named after India. The namesake of India is India. But what else is it? If it's not India, maybe she just forgot how to say Indiana, but guess what? That's still a location! I mean, like, I feel bad for calling Kanye West dumb. Alright? Like, this dumb fuck makes Jaden Smith seem like Albert Einstein. It makes Kanye West look like Stephen Hawking. It makes, who else is really fucking dumb? That's a long list of celebrities, actually, now that I think about it. It makes Justin Bieber look like fucking William Sidis. I think we may have found the dumbest person on earth.
Because it's
India
related
isn't
to
a location?
No.
We're talking about education?
India's a very, very lovely name for a very lovely child.
I think
Yeah, also seems like a decent country.
Katie was on gas and air when she chose those names.
Yeah, I think you'd sort of, it's a little hollow.
I think they're
Doing it
beautiful. I
yourself.
think you've chosen beautiful names for your children, and I would never think to judge them by that.
I do
until I
judge
met
children
them.
by their names.
That's
I do make
terrible.
assumptions, and lots of
Listen
other
to what
parents
you're
do.
saying. You judge children.
Yes,
on their name.
Yes, Holly. Yes, I do that, Holly.
% agree with this dumb fuck. Okay, so that makes it obvious only about 20 people did this fucking poll.
Because
extraordinary.
Where does it get you, Katie? Where does it get you and your children to do that? How is it moving you forward?
For me, it's about the fact that it makes me allowed to make very quick decisions about whether the sort of children that I want my children to be playing with.
Are quick decisions always right decisions? Quick, you made a quick decision.
I have. I've managed to fast forward. I mean, it's funny that.
Oh, you see, the thing is, in life, the quickest option, the quickest decision you make is not always the best one. So I play chess, right? Say you see a move straight away, you play that move, but guess what? It was the quickest decision you made in the whole game, but you know what? That move was a blunder. You lost your queen, you dumb fuck, and now you're losing the game. And the same applies to decision making in the real world. If you make a quick but misguided decision like she is, it just doesn't end well.
We call our children names before we even have them, before you've even taken a look at your child, you'll give it a name. I think
well,
that's
this
a strange
is you
thing
have an
too.
issue with people calling their children names that may mean beautiful or something.
Well, you end up with a terribly ugly kid called Bella. It's quite strange.
So, who gives a fuck?
That's so cruel. I can't
Terrible.
go.
My daughter's called Belle. My daughter's called Belle.
Philip, you have a funny face.
Well, no, I just only. Well, my daughter's called Belle, so that you would maybe have an issue
But she's
with that.
probably quite beautiful, Holly.
But
Taking a look at the mother.
She has a beautiful soul. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful child in many ways, other than the way she looks.
Okay, and I'm sure, Holly, but I can't envisage a child of yours not being. But when I
that's
see Tyler
regardless. So it
and
doesn't
Tyler's
matter.
mum, it's a very different thing.
Katie, are your children only allowed to play with good-looking children as well?
No, because
So
clearly
you let the ugly ones in, as long as they're
I have
posh.
to.
Yeah,
I don't
as long
have a
as they're
choice in
posh.
that matter.
As long
Okay, so at least she's somewhat self-aware.
They're
Look at the
posh, doing their
canvas you're talking
homework.
to.
Well,
as long as they're doing their homework, they
and
arrive
they're
at school
posh.
on time, they're dressed in
They've
the
got
right
good
uniform,
prospects.
they're trying hard, they've got good prospects, they've
and
got
their
intelligent
parents
parents. Those things
don't
are
like
fine.
bingo.
Yes,
Parents don't
there's
like
my
bingo.
list.
That-
Stop, sit down.
Let's have a look at the worm. Let's have a look at the worm.
I wonder
What have you been
what
saying
the
at
worm's
home?
gonna do.
Right.
Oh.
Should you judge a person by their name? Anna May, 91% agree with you.
9% said yes. 9%.
To be honest, I think that worm might be called Tyler.
First things first, who the hell calls that a worm? That's called a pole. And second of all, you don't name them.
That's all I've got to say on that
I like
worm. That
the
worm.
So the rest of this is basically just more yapping from this idiot, and she just gets kind of unvapid with these names. But we've done this enough times, you know the drill. Although I do not believe in the Bible, there is a passage I have memorized. Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the inequities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed be he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down with great vengeance and furious anger those who would attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know that my name is the Lord, when I lay my vengeance upon thee. Katie Hopkins, in sight of gods and men, I sentence you to die for crimes against common sense, basic courtesy, and overall the brain cells of the entire human race.